What's happening, man? It's your boy, Collie Pot Shun here with a little paint where it ain't, a little seasoning with some reasoning. I got my better half with me today. How you doing, young lady?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you, Collie Park?
I'm pretty good. Don't say that like that again.
What? Collie Park? Collie Park.
It's ridiculous.
I'm still learning the way.
Well, sometimes it just ain't for you. You dig? Some stuff it just ain't for you if you ain't got the right.
Seasoning?
Yeah.
Oh.
Your tongue is a certain way. Y'all like to pronounce everything out there in Cali.
Not a problem to enunciate. It's okay. I'll just call you honey.
Well, how about you? First, I'll bring that mic close to you. That's what we want to.
Yes, sir.
We want to make sure the folks hear you. Don't get the gloss on there, though. Don't get the gloss on there. Kurt, what's happening? I see you up in there, brother. What's going on? So welcome everybody to the Soundproof Hunger. As you see, my partner Ralph is not here. He has some business to take care of, but he definitely will be back doing our thing like we normally do. So we got Shan sitting in today.
In the meantime, between time, it's your Cali Peach, Shan. Okay. Happy Saturday, everyone.
See, this is the energy I be telling y'all about that I had to wake up to every day. And I'm the total opposite. And this is the energy that I have to wake up to. But it works.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it works. So anyway, what's been going on with you? How's everything moving? What's been going on in
I'm adjusting. It's been cold here.
Yeah.
I really feel like I should be flying west for the winter because I'm not built for this. It's kind of cold.
You're not built for the cold.
Not really.
But it get cold out there too. But I'm sure
Never.
not down like that. But I'm sure it gets cold like.
Tad bit cold.
Yeah.
And when we say cold, it's in the 50s.
Oh. So that's the lowest y'all really get to.
40s maybe, but the 50s is kind of where we're putting on coats and, acting like it's real cold. This here is unbearable. It's unnecessary cold. And it's not livable.
It is very livable. I've been here all my life. It has been getting colder, but it's only for a short period of time. And yeah, I would never move any up further north because I do not like the cold. So
it's not fun.
No, it's not. And again, work outside. 18. What's happening? 18. Working outside, I definitely don't like the cold and like dealing with it. But anyway, it's part of life. You got to roll with the punches, or change.
Show you right.
I know. Okay, this what we not gonna do today. We not finna do this today. Okay, I'm gonna need you to simmer down.
I'm just trying to flow.
Well, you're not flowing right now. You messing up the flow right now. Okay, with the foolishness. Okay,
leave the Southern to you.
Let me do what I do. Okay, I don't. And you do your yeah. What's the one thing? What's the yee? What it?
Stop.
What is it?
Just stop.
Exactly. So
stop.
Now you know how I feel. What you doing me? It's a mockery. Okay. Anyway, moving on with the show, man. Jeez, I can't believe it. Ralph, you need to hurry up, bro, because this ain't working, okay? It's not working. Anyway, we're gonna start off with my favorite section. Yeah, it's time for the news, y'all. We're gonna start off with Black Lives Matter. Seattle has settled with 50 Black Lives Matter protesters. They're going to pay them $10 million, basically. They were suing the city for Seattle for, claiming excessive force when they were protesting. The police was beating people and all this stuff. And the courts literally was like, we don't want to pay y'all.
Of course not.
Said we don't think y'all get it or whatever. But they also said we see that y'all not stopping, and the money and the time that's spent on the them going back and forth in the litigations would cost way more than what they were asking for. So they both came to the table and settled on $10 million for 50 of the Black Lives Matter protesters. So Shouts out to them.
Diligence.
Yeah, exactly. Staying with it. So shouts out to them for getting the city to go on and compensate them for the foolishness that black people deal with every day, and they wonder why we don't trust the police like that. Huh? But anyway, moving on. What you got to say on that? I'm sorry.
No, I'm all for it.
Okay.
I'm all for it. They certainly use excessive force. It's unnecessary, and even if the dollar amount wouldn't matter, it's the principle. Is that the people didn't back down. Is that they were steady in their stance, and if they want to pay them out to quiet it, or if they want to pay it out to avoid further costs, the end result is a payout. So,
all right. Well,
not mad.
I'm with that. Another case that came up, this one, since we're talking about the police, came up in North Georgia. You had an ex. She was a teacher, and she moved into being a councilwoman, a stateswoman, or something like that, working in the court where she was doing legislation. So she called the police because somebody was threatening to put out revenge porn. And I didn't know that's now I think you can get 3 to 5 years for that now. So all y'all out there, y'all got your videos and stuff of your porn. If you're no longer with that person, okay, don't threaten with them by putting out that sex tape, okay? Because you can do some time for that sex tape now. So anyway, somebody was threatening her with a revenge porn. And the police, what they did was, instead of investigating that, they looked her up. Now, she's in some small county in North Georgia. I can't even remember the name. Hall County, I believe. Instead of them researching her claim, they researched her and found that before she was even in office or anything like that, that she would sell gummies. They,
What kind of gummies?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they didn't really say if it was THC or what's the other one? CBD. But they saw she was selling gummies, so they pressed charges on her instead of even looking at her revenge porn case.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. So again, this is why we do not trust police like that in situations like that, and especially when you're on a platform like that with politics, and you might be in a city where we're the minority pretty much everywhere outside of Atlanta and major black cities, DC, anywhere. When you're in those positions, they're gonna be shooting for you regardless. So that's under investigation.
So what happened with the revenge porn case?
They hadn't done anything with it. They're pursuing this case against her for gummies.
That's trash.
For gummies.
That's trash.
Right. For gummies. So talking about the police on that one. Moving on to the next subject. This one I found particularly interesting. This is one of the things that it exemplifies the difference between black people and white people. And this one is actually a good one that we should learn to do more of. Madonna is being sued. Madonna is being sued. Let me say this. She is being sued for being late to her concert. Okay.
Okay.
It was brought up by two guys. Had said, and I guess it was in New York or something like that, because the show was supposed to start at 8:30. The venue came out and said it was technical difficulties. Boom, boom. She didn't get on stage until like 10:45, and the show was over at I think 12:30 or something like that. So he was saying by that time, public transportation and things of that stuff wasn't available. So
in New York?
Yeah. I don't know if it was in New York, so
Okay.
I might be wrong there, but that was part of their claim. Uber drivers and things of that nature, after certain hours, they're not going to run like that, So they're suing her. They have a case on her for that. So I don't know how it's going to stand, but
That's kind of crazy. Like these frivolous lawsuits, these money grabs. Now, first of all, there are black victims. So if you are a victim of Lauryn Hill being late.
I was about to say, because Lauryn Hill, if this case go through, Lauryn Hill finna go, boy, she finna be died.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, but and it's fair, but I don't know if a lawsuit is warranted. Now, I think I also read that they said they were late for their jobs the next morning.
Was it okay?
I believe I read that as well. And that's a risk you take in going to concerts. Like these lawsuits, like the hot coffee lawsuit and these frivolous lawsuits are kind of ridiculous to me. And I think it's a money grab because people are able to get in on these class action lawsuits. You get enough people, you get a lawyer who's willing to pursue the trash,
Right.
and they're recovering.
Right.
They're recovering.
I mean, because if you put the work in, sometimes again, that's why I said that there's sometimes when we just say, oh man, whatever, you get on, you move on, and we just be like, whatever. Well, I can get paid off of this. You know, I don't think that
this is broaching the line of Karen behavior.
Well, I mean,
Karen behavior.
Okay, he said get off of Lauryn Hill. No, Lauryn Hill, and then the other thing that Lauryn Hill does, she comes out and says, so what if I'm late?
Well, that was the one time.
It don't matter. It was said.
And we don't know what Madonna said either.
It was said.
She probably said, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. While it's fair, and I don't know how I feel about that, a lawsuit. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, y'all don't have nothing better to do?
Try to get money.
Okay. Fair enough.
Would you consider that scamming?
It's a form of scamming. We leave concerts late all the time. What about the encores? We still partying and stuff.
But I feel like, man, if it's a way, like I said, because we overlook so much, if you can get money from it.
We got bigger fish.
And hold people. You're right.
We do.
And that's why you don't hear a lot of black people suing for stuff like this. Yeah. First off, then you got to procure the lawyer. So already they gonna bust you upside the head. And you know, we try to get our own people when we try to get lawyers, and a lot of times they screw us over too.
Whole nother story.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is interesting. This is a funny story. Shout out to them. If they recover, great. If they don't,
Okay. All right. Moving on to the next subject. Okay, this one's gonna be kind of long, and I want your perspective on this. And 18, if I see you in the chats, I'm gonna need you to type in on this too. And Kurt, I need to hear this because it's anyway. Back in 2020, I don't know if y'all remember when the Oscars, when they was having this whole whiteout Oscars, when all of they were saying there's not enough diversity in the Oscars. So during that time, they changed the rules. The rules now come into play. They start for 2000, where it was 4 movies from 2023 to 2024. So the Oscars that's going to come up currently will have those rules in play. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't think a lot of us sat down and was like, okay, well, let me see what the rules are. So these were the rule changes for the Best Picture. Like, if you want to win Best Picture, you had to have either one, or I think it was either 1 or 2 of these requirements in order to win Best Picture. And it's 4 groups of requirements.
4 groups
of requirements. So you have to meet. Win. I think you have to meet at least 1 or 2 out of all of the groups.
Out of the 4.
I mean, yeah, out of the 4.
Okay.
So Group A, you have to have 1 lead or a significant supporting role for minorities. Okay, that's one thing. The other part to that one, the second one to that one is 30% of the cast in secondary or minor roles have to be from underrepresented identity groups, aka LGBTQ or plus. Disabled, okay. People like that. The third one to that one is the main storyline that centers on the underrepresented. We're just gonna call it an underrep group.
Okay.
So that's Group A. So you either have to have a lead or a significant supporting role that's a minority, or you have to have 30% of the cast in minor roles from 2 underrepresented identity groups, And the third line of the storyline has to center on the underrepresented identity group. That's Group A. Group B, at least 2 heads of departments. This is more behind the camera. So they wanted to cover all aspects. You have to have at least 2 heads of departments that must be of underrepresented identity or minority. Another one for that one is that at least 6 people on the crew must be minority, and 30% of the crew from underrepresented identity. I'm just gonna say underrep. I'm tired of saying that. From underreps.
Okay.
So that's Group B. Group C is you have to offer paid internship or apprenticeship to underrep. Another one is must provide training and jobs to underrep.
This is all to qualify to win
Best
or
picture.
for...
Best picture. Yeah. I'm not finished. Group D. It's the last group, and this one deals more with the promotion. So it says multiple senior level execs from underreps on marketing, publicity, or distribution teams. So literally they're saying you got to have some color in every aspect of this movie making process. And you have to meet, like I said, at least 2 of all of these requirements in order to be nominated for Best Picture.
On paper, it seems like it's a lot, but it may not be. Mm-hmm. Who's running all these numbers? Who's doing all these stats to check off all these boxes?
It's pretty easy. If you're in the industry, if we were in the industry outside of, if we're working on the all-black cast, you go to a major studio, you're probably one of 8 out of 300 people walking around. So you'd be like, okay, you kind of used to it, and you know people, you cool. And a lot of times, if you notice, those people's run in circles. So if I know if I'm the boom guy that holds the mic at this certain studio, they're calling me for most of the movies. Whereas if you say, well, I want to learn how to run the boom and this and that, but you ain't in the circle, so they're not gonna call you. You know what I'm saying? As a black female, and a lot of times when you're in those spaces, I think you see it a lot more than, because this seems pretty detailed.
It is. And
they want it in every step, on the camera, behind the camera, and marketing and getting the stuff out there. So, yeah.
That's a lot. But I think it will allow additional films to enter the chat. They'd have to consider, I feel like they'd have to open up or broaden their lens as far as the nominees and what they'd consider for the Oscar. Because the films that are now out there, the ones that are being nominated and winning,
right?
Look at the track history,
right?
So now they're going to have to broaden their searches to meet these requirements for that category.
So then I look at it. Kurt says it's just like letting women play in the NBA. I'll come back to that. But then I also look at, on the flip side of that, as a director, say somebody that, I've already written my roles and this and that. Now I'm just plugging people, not necessarily the person I'm used to or the person that I know that I wrote this script for.
Sure.
For me, especially with actors, very talented on all races. Mm-hmm. You can find some very talented people in all races, but if it's a certain look that you're looking for, a certain, somebody that brings something special to the camera, do I now have to say, I can't use you anymore? I got to put a black guy. I got to put a gay lady here. You know what I'm saying?
It'll be a lot more considerations when casting and, hiring the supporting act, the supporting cast, the production crew. And I think while this serving the purpose of more diversity, I think it'll also allow more opportunities in there. So it might be a good thing, but I think this also might deter some.
A lot of directors. I mean, it was a lot of people pushing back when they first announced it, and I think now that it's, getting ready to go into place, it's going to be more people that's going to be vocal about it, because at this, it's affirmative action again.
Sure.
Affirmative action in Hollywood, basically. So I say, Terrell, okay, what's up, Terrell? She said, I hope filmmakers continue to follow their passion and make the films they feel passionate about. Don't worry about following rules. Let talent
Do what it do.
Do what it do. That, again, I agree with that. But let's be honest. Most upper, let's say 1%ers, they're white folk.
Yes.
They don't hang around black folks. They're just not around black people. Me growing up here in Atlanta, I'm not around white people. I wasn't around white people until I went to school. But just in my day-to-day life, I'm not around white people like that, or a lot of them. So for me, if I say I'm finna shoot this movie, I'm gonna do the movie with the people that I know around me that's good in this space, and to do this and do that. Now, if it comes along and somebody says, hey, I know this white boy that can shoot this kind of shot. He has this kind of camera, boom, boom. Then that's me taking the extra effort to say, okay, well, let me reach out to this person and do that. But just in my confines, in my space, I'm usually going to deal with who I'm around.
Yeah.
So now you're forcing people to say, I'm going to have to step outside of that just to fit this criteria if I want to try to win this award. Do you think that's fair?
It's fair, but also I'm also taking it into consideration how many of these filmmakers actually give a damn about winning these awards. If, like Terrell mentioned, they're following their passion and they're creating a film for what they want and for the people, these awards don't really matter to them. Mm-hmm. And so that's going to be something that's out the window. Okay, well, I see what y'all saying. I see these requirements, but I'm not interested. I don't care about an award. I'm going to release this because this is something I want the people to see. Right. Period.
Okay. I feel you on that. Hey, Tim said Tubi got movies.
Tubi does.
All kind of movies. I ain't looked at not now.
We might see some Oscar-winning Tubi films.
Oh, Lord. I mean, they even poke fun at themselves with the commercials. They poke, and they do well with it. So. But it's work.
Yeah.
It's work. So
and people are
watching, and people get paid for it.
It's true.
So it is what it is. So
damn the Oscars, just like they said a while ago.
Yeah. I'm with that. I'm more so with that too. Follow your passion and do what you want to do. And I think for most people, because that was always a dream of mine. I always wanted to make movies or whatever. Mm-hmm. And for me, it would be me just getting my message out and to put the vision on it that I want people to receive versus me doing it because I'm trying to win an award.
Right. I think that's the latter for most.
Yeah. So, but I'm all for the diversity as well. I'm not going to act like, they need to get rid of this crap. No, I'm for the diversity because in today's society, I will say, white folks are starting to feel threatened because they have always been the majority.
The front runners.
The front runners of everything. And so they're used to always seeing their face on every commercial, on every movie. Mm-hmm. Everything that's good is a white person's face right there. And so as soon as you start seeing people of other races step into these spaces, they feel like they're being attacked. No, you're not being attacked. You got people, we've always had people that are equal or better than. Right. It's just y'all haven't created a space for us. So now we're creating our own spaces.
Now they don't want to share it.
Exactly. Y'all don't want to share it, or y'all just steal our stuff. Hence, Taylor Swift, swag surfing. It's called swag surfing. It ain't no whatever the hell they thought they was doing. I don't know what the hell they thought.
It was the wave.
No, it's not. It's swag surfing. That's what it is.
She wasn't swag surfing.
She thought she was, and that's what they was trying to do.
Let's focus.
No, I am focused. I'm focused on them stealing our stuff and then try to whitewash it and say, "Oh, the new Kansas City wave." If you
Hey,
don't
listen,
get
if they can swag surf in church, they can Taylor can swag surf.
but they didn't call it swag surf. They didn't give it credit to the person. Like we say swag, we know what it is.
Well, I think they did.
No, they didn't. They call it some Kansas City wave or something. It was something else. Yeah, they didn't say swag surf.
Well, we all knew what it was.
Yeah, okay, well, white America don't. If Taylor Swift say, no, this is the Swift motion, that's what they gonna call it. And then it's gonna be plastered on the TV somewhere. No, not for that. Okay.
So you're not a Swiftie then.
Lamar Jackson, we need you, bruh. We need you. All right. Yeah, that's crazy. What is it? 18 say films that win awards get seen by people that normally wouldn't have seen the movies, so directors care. That's a good point. That is a good point because a lot of times, some people that aren't an average moviegoer, they'll say, "Okay, well, what was the best picture for last year? Who won the Oscar, bro?" And then they'll go watch that movie.
Though.
Yeah, it's after the fact, but they still watch it at some point, and so it's going to bring more people to look at. Now, and I've done that, and some of them were trash after,
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'd be like, what the hell? How they get an award for this? You know, but it will bring more eyes.
It will garner attention for sure on the back end. On the front end, maybe not so much. And I don't know. In the grand scheme of things, I don't know that that's going to be a consideration when people are filming and casting and doing all of those things, is that I strive to get an Oscar. So I'm going to move in this direction.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. I feel you. Well, what you got? Then you have some news you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I was a little bit troubled this week. I'm not quite sure when it happened, but in Mississippi, I happened to, on my timeline, see this girl filming a woman that was pushing a cart around Walmart. And the woman was fully dressed, but her child was in the basket in the cart. And he was pretty much in a diaper or some sort of an undergarment. And then he had a big jacket over him. And so she started to get attention as she's rolling through the store. And from what I'm hearing now, the store employee is the one recording. And she's like, hey, what are you doing? Why your baby don't have no clothes on? And she followed her around.
Right.
Another shot that I saw was an older woman who was in a cart who ended up going to get some clothes from inside the store and put them on the baby. Long story short, I'm hearing that the police were called about this woman and maybe like a welfare check on the child. And as I'm reading now, most recently, the woman apparently had other children and they were taken away as a result of this welfare check of the kid that was in the store. I'm kind of torn. Because the child did look like, it was cold out.
Right. They say it was like 30 degrees outside.
Yes. And the child didn't have no clothes on, but the mother was fully dressed.
Right.
I'm not sure I would have called the police necessarily in that moment. I would have certainly asked if she needed some help. Hey, sis, you good? Can I get something for the baby? We never know what was going on in that moment. But now knowing the results of the actions and then going forward, I hear that the employee was fired.
Right. Yeah, I saw that.
I'm not quite sure why she was fired. My speculation or assumption is that she was recording this event and posting it on social media as she's on shift, on her shift.
Right.
I don't know exactly why she was fired, but I'm torn on that. I'm not quite sure what I would have done in that moment.
See, this is that fine line that we always talk about when we say mind your business, but in the same space we say we need to look out for each other, right? So I understand your sentiment in saying, she lost her other kids or this or that nature, and nobody wins in this situation, right? And like you said, to go and offer, like you said, somebody went and offered to buy some clothes for the kids and this and that. That was in the moment, right? So in that moment, people stepped up because they saw it. Had they not saw it, they probably would have just looked and like, what's wrong with this crazy lady and this little baby out here? Ain't got this, and that. and just like, well, it ain't my business, or you can step in and say, well, hey, just let me get him some clothes, or let me do this or do that. Because even in case I can't just give you the money, because I'm looking at you like you crazy, so you might go and buy something else. You might go, buy some UGG boots with the money I give you when you got to feed all these kids or whatever, because nobody knows that outside of that. But to go even further, you have other people that, like you said, the cops would call.
Yeah.
Now you have people that are standoffish that would just call the police and just be like, we'll let them handle it. Mm-hmm. And then that's, once it's in the system and things of that nature come into play, it ain't no coming back from that.
Right. And that's my problem. Like,
but was it, if it was probably needed though? Like, and again, you can't trust in everything that the cops do, but if they come and they see that these kids are not being taken care of properly, what other way would it have come to light?
Personally, if it were me, I would have certainly bought something for the kid to wear in the moment. I would have passed my phone number to the mom.
Okay.
I don't want to be in your business or nothing. I think I have done this before. I don't want to be in your business or anything. Mm-hmm. Here's my phone number. If there's anything that you need, especially for the kids, call me. Right. I can pull some things together. You know what I mean? If you're going through some things, I can figure out a network. We can watch the kids or whatever if you trust me enough.
Right.
But to call the police initially, knowing that the end result is the kid's going to be in the system, and probably not cared for, and probably be worse off. I don't know what was going on at the home, but right. I would have certainly extended that much to the mother before immediately calling the police. That's just me.
And that's a huge step that I don't think a lot of regular folk, in their day-to-day don't just sit down and take in. Especially you look at somebody that don't even have kids. So the things that you're saying is coming from a place of empathy. You understand. You know what could happen to these kids when they get into the state and things of that nature. But also Tyson was saying she was torn, and she said it seemed like something was wrong with the mama.
Yeah, she was not mentally there.
Right. So,
but who is these days?
I am.
I mean, I'm here to tell you. I beg to differ.
Yeah. All right.
You can believe that. And she probably believed that too. And sometimes, shit goes on. She may not be completely well, but she is a well-oiled machine, and things are moving. She may look disheveled. She may look like things are out of place. The kids probably have I don't want to make any assumptions. But in the worst case scenario, I would have extended an offer to support her somehow. And knowing that if she had other kids, they're being taken away, that wouldn't feel right in my spirit. Right. And I think that the employee that was recording all of this, I didn't like it. I didn't like the fact that she had to get on social media and give her narrative at the end. I don't like that she decided to post it, but in the day and age that we're in, this is what's happening. Yeah. But then she started to make it about her. She got on at the end and started crying and stuff. Girl, stop. Girl, stop.
Well, get a woman crying on camera, the world stop, right?
Not really.
It shouldn't,
Not
but
now.
That's how stuff been happening lately.
I guess.
As I was talking about the brick girl last week, she got charged. They bought her in, and she posted a $10,000 bill.
And she out.
But them charges there, she got to come back to court and face them fraud charges. And it was all done by the Queen of Accountability. That's the name on IG, the Queen of Accountability. I just started following her. Like I was saying last week, I just started following this lady. Her actual name is Daphne Sutton. I followed her. I started seeing some of the other clips she's done. Mm-hmm. She fight for the brothers out here. Like, she going after women that do wrong by people, either child support,
What's her premise? What's her thing on social media? What's her thing?
Well, she goes and she highlights, like, women that, okay, and most society looks at women and say, okay, we're this, we're that, we're beautiful, you should praise us, you should do this, well, there's some scamming women out there.
Sure.
So she finds the women that scamming or beating the system or things of this nature, and she goes after them.
That's the basis of her content.
And she brings them to justice. She has helped a lot of people based off of that.
I'm gonna reserve my judgment until I have an opportunity to look at her content.
Look at it, because even in her doing all the work that she's done and showing everything that happened with it. Because remember when the Brick Girl hit and she was saying, oh, black men didn't help me and this and that. So you had 1 million black women co-signing with her, right? And then now she's like, this chick was frauding everybody. Mm-hmm. She's done this before. Here it is. Here's the information. It's still women that was still like, nah, I'm riding with the chick. How you going after her like that, this and that? The black men didn't help her or whatever. And then they start throwing their insecurities in there. And even after she proved that she had the charges filed and they stuck, women were still like, nah, I don't believe it, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, come on, man. At some point, you have to understand that all women ain't good for you. All of them, there's some criminals out there, right, as black women.
But you don't approach it in that manner.
Men don't.
You should.
That's the problem. See, with her frauding, who was the ones that got the dirt off of her fraud? It was black men. And then she got money from the people that put them in. She got it off of sympathy. It wasn't no black man that was sending her money. I hope it wasn't. But it was sympathy. So at that point, we looking dirty. Not her. Not, no other black woman. It was us. And so for us as black men, we almost immune to it, to where we just like, man, whatever, and keep pushing. Mm-hmm. But here it is, another black lady that said, no, I'm not finna keep letting dirty people do dirty stuff to y'all and it not be addressed. And that's what she does. She goes after stuff that a lot of times men just be like, man, whatever, I'm gonna go on about my business. And she get into it, like I was saying with the white folks, suing Madonna. It'd be little stuff that we just, as men, black men especially, we tend to, little small stuff like that, we just like, man, whatever. Right. That ain't me. I'm finna push on. But she's like, nah, I want to bring these people to justice, So.
Okay. I mean, if blasting them on social media is bringing them to justice in her eyes, okay.
Well, no, she called the police. She was the one that made all the reports. That's what I'm saying.
This woman sitting on the internet is the one calling and doing all this?
She got the charges for her. She is the one that went and said, this lady is fraud and stuff, pulled up all her old stuff, found that she done it before, called the police. She had to call multiple times because at first they was like, man, whatever. But she was like, no, I'm giving you all this stuff. She out here taking people money. Y'all need to look into this. So that's how the charges got filed. She was vigilant. If nobody else had done it, this chick would have still been out scamming and stuff. So that's why I ride with her. I know, and again, just like some black woman, you kind of be like, nah, I got to look at this. I don't know if she, I'm with it.
Okay.
I'm with it.
I'm going to reserve all of my judgment until I have an opportunity. I'll circle back. Maybe I'll come back next week and give my take on her. Right now, I don't know, but we'll see.
Right on. Yeah, check her out. So, just check her out, and then you can say yay and nay. Sure. That'll be a discussion we're going to have regardless. But anyway, let's go to one of the discussions we did have when we were talking about kind of being accountable and things of that nature, when we saw Nia Long is going to get child support for how much was it?
I believe it's $30,000.
$30,000. Give me your, I guess, perspective on child support amounts. And before you do, I want to say this. I saw one, there was this guy that had a suggestion about child support. And it sat with me for a little while, but he said what child support should do, and he kind of threw some numbers out there, just roughly. He said, okay, say child support is $1,000 a month. He said $500 of that needs to go into a trust for that child. And then the other half goes to whatever the cost of living is for the food and the housing. So I already knew you was going to, and that's
First
why.
of all, sir,
Let me
you don't get
finish.
to determine
Let me finish.
what happens with the child
So
support.
my thought process was, I think that's a great thing as far as the saving aspect. But on the other end, since you're not there, you don't know what the cost of living, the insurance, the electricity, the how much food, football practice, soccer practice, cheerleading, so to put a number amount on the cost of living, to me, if you're not there, is a little weird. It's a little weird. What did he say?
He said next week is full. Yes, I will be sitting here and you will be sitting here. Welcome back, Shan.
Yeah, so to kind of put a price tag on the cost of living, to me, is weird. But I do like the trust thing.
Ideally, in the real world, wouldn't we all love to have a savings account? Wouldn't we all want to put some money aside for a rainy day? I mean, that's common knowledge, whether you're a parent, a single parent, a two-parent household. That is a goal, for sure. It's a goal to save. How and whatsoever. Where's the soapbox? ISO on Shan.
This is your camera here.
ISO on Shan. Child support is intended to care for the child in lieu of the parent's presence there. And they're considering what the contribution would be if he were in the home.
Right.
And if his contribution would be $30,000, then that's what it will be. It's not hurting him, apparently. And I challenge the thought that this money is going to be somehow frivolously spent on things, because men like to get in there and say how women are spending their money on this, that, and the other, and it's not being spent on the child, and they want to, can we designate a debit card so we can track the expenses and the spending and all of this and that and the other? Sir. First of all, the system shouldn't be telling you how much to pay. The system shouldn't be telling you to pay.
Okay, now we're going into a moral thing. So
I'm just saying, if we're talking $30,000 that the court determined, right?
Right.
And so if he were doing what he were supposed to do, then the court shouldn't be involved, right?
Right, but somehow, and some people are vindictive enough to say, I'm still going to take, like, some people would set up a situation where say, okay, well, I get them every other weekend, and I'm going to give you $500 every 2 weeks for daycare, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. And everything is good and cozy. And then the baby mama find out, oh, you got a girlfriend? Oh, nah, I don't want that girl around my children. And boom, she go off to the court, and she get the papers on you.
That does happen.
So
that does happen.
It can get ugly. So at that point, is it okay to run to the courts then, or should you be perfectly fine with, because it was working up until you knew I had a girlfriend?
Sure.
So you stand the same in that space?
No, I agree with you.
Oh, okay.
Some women are very vindictive, and they try to hit them where it hurts, which is the pockets.
Yeah.
And in this case, Nia Long ain't hurting for money, so I doubt. And also that has a couple of different layers with it because of the scandal that he was involved in, and dude gets what he deserves. But
we're not gonna go there, okay?
I'm saying it. He get what he deserves. Hit him where it hurts. But it also is not. It seems like based on the income that was reported, it's a drop in the bucket.
And that's fine. But I just be like Kevin Garnett, like he paid crazy. Like the more money you make, the more you're going to take out of me. As opposed to what it costs for this child to be taken care of.
That's not an as opposed to, because you have to consider whatever it is that you're making your net worth. If you were in the child's life, you would be actively contributing, and there would be no cost associated with it. There's no cost associated with you being involved.
So now I'm paying for, let's say, lessons that I would have taught them.
Lessons like guitar lessons or life lessons?
Yeah, anything.
You're paying for anything that you would have paid for if you were in the home. Yes.
So it doesn't strictly boil down to the necessities.
You provide necessities for your child.
Right.
in the home.
So that shouldn't cost $30,000.
We don't know what that
month.
child is doing. We don't. He could be a Tiger Woods mentee. He could be in private school. He could be in special education. He might have a medical condition. Mm-hmm. He has a mother who is an actress. Mm-hmm. So a nanny, cooks, whatever it is that are required that the man would be providing if he were still in the home, all of those things, that's what his contribution is for.
So it's cheaper to keep her, is what you're saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, we all know that. That's common knowledge. It's cheaper to keep her.
Oh my God.
But when you leave the home, and this ain't for y'all $250 a month child support payers.
Why are you shooting at them people like that?
Because how you gonna nickel and dime $250? Set your ass down and
that's
hush.
all they got. Would you can't be coming at them like that.
Listen.
Come on,
Listen,
man.
if that's all you got, then hush and give it. You don't get to dictate in line item $250. Shut up.
That is crazy.
It is crazy.
Well, how about I move in with the kid and you move out?
Listen, I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to being a weekend mama. Shit, mama gotta have a life too.
Oh,
I do have a friend who had children with someone, and he wanted to raise the kids, and she was not opposed to that, and it was a fabulous arrangement for everybody. She didn't miss no moments. She paid her child support faithfully. She didn't complain, and the kids are doing great.
Shout out to her.
Shout out to
her. Kurt threw a good question in there. Can she maintain the lifestyle? If not, I can. Meaning, I guess he's meaning like, if I bring this to the table and I have to maintain this, is she also going to be able to make that, say if the tables were turned and she had to pay child support?
I've never read anywhere where he contested custody for the child or petitioned the court for custody. So that's not even a consideration here. But if in fact the man decides to raise the child, it should be the other way. The table's going to turn.
Do you think hers would have been $30,000?
I don't think she is making that much money.
So now it's based off how much money you make.
Yeah.
As opposed to what the child, the living lifestyle of the child.
It's always going to be based on your income.
Okay.
I
know that legally. Yeah.
Yeah. So then you have to factor in what the expenses are for the child. And they're going to take a portion of, your income.
All right. Okay.
Child support is punishment for not getting alimony.
Wow.
That is a bald-faced lie.
Wow.
Kurt, that is so inaccurate. You couldn't be more wrong. Respectfully, that is wrong.
We might need to bring Kurt up. We need to get him in here. Because, I will say Kurt says some things that just be like, what the hell are you talking about? But then later on down the line, a lot of it comes true, unfortunately. Well, I won't even say unfortunately.
I wouldn't say a lot of the times either.
No, a lot of times, just like when he said sometime last year, you can't protect nothing that's wild. And then he broke it down. And then Will and Jada.
A broken clock is right at least once.
Twice. Two times a day.
At least once, twice.
But it was true.
We can always, of course. There's going to be some truth in that, but in these moments they just don't be fitting.
you got. I guess you just have to. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. I have one more topic that I wanted to talk about. I was reading an article about a gay couple, two white men, adopted a black girl. I think she was a young girl, maybe 3 or 4 years old. So he went online and he posted him trying to do her hair and was asking, hey, can I get some help on how to do her hair? He got a lot of pushback, saying, hey, if you adopted a black girl, don't you have some black people around you that could have told you that, as opposed to coming on here and using this as using her as almost like a prop? And then you had some people that went in and just kind of gave, some advice on what to do. And so that was the argument, was that I guess the question is, my question is, how do you feel about, they call it transracial adoptions, and they say they're pretty high in the U.S. With, I guess, white people adopting minorities. Um, how do you feel about it, and do you think that, and he pulled down the post, I guess, because he got so much more pushback than positivity. He pulled it down because he was saying so many people were saying that he was using it as like a, a attention getting situation, whereas in real life, shouldn't you have some people around you? What made you go and get a black girl?
Stats,
So
statistics that say little black kids are one of the highest numbers of kids in the system. And I am thankful for a family that would take on. There's so many layers to a white family taking on a black child because of the lack of culture that they're able to offer. Society, the way that they will crucify you now. This case in point, him having to pull down his post, or feeling the need to pull down his post, because clearly he didn't have a black circle. Right. And I don't think that should be a factor. I don't think it was a factor in wanting to care for a black child. You can get in there and learn anything. You can learn to ride a bike. You can learn to do hair. You can learn to speak another language. These are all things that you can learn. I commend them for adopting a black child, just like Madonna and Angelina Jolie and everyone else who did it. Because otherwise those black kids would be sitting in the system, and they probably are able to offer a better life with them to a same-sex couple than, being in the system.
Do you think it's important, and I'm going to ask you this and then I'm going to give you some stats. Do you think it's important for those that do adopt minorities to make sure that they make their heritage very accessible with their upbringing?
It is very important to integrate the black culture, black history, black values as much as they can. Because, you can't teach them how to cook a pot of greens like a black person, but you can integrate, you can show them, you can introduce them to these things of our culture. It's important. I think it should be, it's necessary. I don't want to say it's mandatory. I think it's valuable for them to infuse that into their lifestyles. And then in turn, they learn as well about the black culture.
Yeah, the stats support that. They were saying how the ones, the kids that are brought up in those type families, and they put them in diverse schools, they put them in diverse programs, they give them access to their heritage and learning about their history. They do better in, I can't remember what the measurement was, but they were just saying they pretty much excel more than, say, two white people got a black guy and didn't teach him anything about black history, and all he wanted to do was be a white one. Tim Scott. That's politics.
Keep moving, sir.
I'm sorry.
Bring
Tim
it in.
Scott.
Bring it in.
I'm sorry. Herschel Walk.
Keep going.
But they say they do better when they learn about their history and they put them in diverse programs in schools and things of that nature. So
I know some hairstylists who offer the services for parents who are raising black children to teach them how to do hair and teach them. So there are resources out there. They may not know about them, but that's, another way to get through social media to learn things, to use your resources to learn about them. So I don't fault him for that. Black people gonna do what they do,
right?
Of course, instead of looking at the big picture and the child's livelihood and the opportunity that they have through this family.
So it's almost putting, like Flex was saying one time, we create everything. We just don't have the access to the funds. And so kind of paralleling that to this situation, you get a kid that probably would come up through the system, but if you give them the foundation, they can excel in life, in overall life, so yeah, I'm okay with it too. I'm not too against it, as long as, like I said, as long as those parents are very cognizant of what, and not just Black, Mexicans, Latino, whatever it is, make sure that you give them access to their history, and in turn you should be learning it as well,
Right.
so that you can cultivate them in that space as well, so they could be able to move in a diverse space in life. I think that's very essential. But
Go get them Black kids.
yeah.
Go get them Black kids out the system.
Oh goodness. Okay. Well, what else you got? You got anything you want to talk about real good? We got the playoffs jumping off. Ralph. How do you feel about women in sports, like fans, not women in sports, but women fans? Do you run across more women fans that are just there for the atmosphere, or women fans that are really into the sport?
My circle, we love sports. We are avid fans. We watch games. We go to games. We follow stats. Shout out to my Rams. We didn't quite make it this year, but shout out to the LA Rams. No, you know what? Wow, that is disrespectful.
No, I mean the Raiders ain't get to the playoffs.
So that was for you. Got it.
No, we all watching.
My circle of women, we all on the couch.
Yeah, we all watch.
We watch sports and we follow sports. It's not only, I can't say that it was, no, I don't want to make this about Atlanta, but when I did come here.
No, you can say it because it's good, because it's not a sports city. I'll say that. Just say it.
It was more of the women were in the game with stilettos on.
Yep.
And dresses, bodycon dresses, hair did like shades. And we're talking like inside games, the Hawks games.
I'm not even going to read that. It's funny though. I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, I see the people that I run with, we're sports fans and we watch the sports. It was only here that I saw they were going to the games and in the activities, and even in like going out to watch games. I was tired of that very, very early when I was saying, oh, I'm gonna go watch a game, because people aren't there to watch the game. They smoking hookah, they drinking, they dancing. It's a DJ that's playing music for every commercial. Like, I come to watch the game. That's why I don't even bother anymore. Like, I'll watch the game here, because going out in public, it's more of an event, a social event, especially the women.
Okay. I'm from Atlanta, born and raised, and
You don't say.
Yeah. I try to explain to you people, we're full. Okay. I'm going to use my camera on this one. We're full. Okay. When people want to enjoy something that they are passionate about, sports, comedians, things that you go out to enjoy, I don't want a DJ blasting music in my ear. I don't want booty dust around my food, okay? Because everybody want to twerk and do this and do that, and I want to enjoy the game, either my cigar, either, the comedian, whatever I paid for at that time. I want to enjoy that. And it seems that Atlanta is now the land of turn up.
Tis.
And the only solace you have is in your own home. Hence, natives are in the house. We not outside, okay? You catch us at the Falcons games, tailgating more than in the game, okay?
Yeah.
You catch us at the house games, which I will say I love that we're one of the only cities where you're going to see on the games whereas black people all in the stands.
Oh, shots fired.
Give me another city where you see more black people in the stands. I'll wait. All right, your time is up. So I'm gonna give that. We put black people out there, on the TV screen. All right, but us natives be inside. We full. Don't move here.
Wait, this was a rant. This
I'm done. I'm finished.
But you went.
Yeah, it's over now. I'm done.
But your question was about women in sports.
Oh yeah, you had answered that, right? You answered it. So
I thought you had a little take on that too.
Oh, I was finishing, but you interrupted me. So I'm gonna finish. So yeah, I've noticed that you have a certain type of women that they're going to hang out. You can tell them right off the bat though. The ones that's going to hang out, you got some that's cool. They stay out. They just kind of stay out the way, and they just hopefully we win. They got the jerseys and stuff. Hopefully we win. But now you got the ones that actually pay attention to the game. They actually know the game. They know the rules. They can talk to you about the game. They can tell you about their players, their coaches, what they need to do, what they short on. Mm-hmm. I am perfectly fine with that woman as opposed to the one that is just out there just doing the most.
Making space. Taking up space.
She end up on the floor somewhere because she don't drink too much. We see it all the time. Somebody done got too drunk. Like, we watching the game, bro. Like,
they turn everything into a party. Everything is a party here.
So, anyway, yeah. Well, I ain't got nothing else. What you got?
I don't have anything else at all.
Okay.
Thank you for the invitation here today.
Well, thanks for hanging out with me. It's always fun, and they get to hear a little bit of our conversations. This is how we talk all the time. In case y'all wonder, and it's usually sometimes we differ in a lot of things, and we go back and do some research, and we talk about it later. If not, okay, we agree to disagree.
Facts.
And we move on. It ain't life ending. Nah, you got to go. I don't want to talk to you no more. She ain't in the car looking out the window, Brian.
I am not.
She starts scrolling. She get her phone and starts scrolling.
Or I stare a hole into the side of his damn head.
Anyway, man, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Y'all know we on all platforms, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, if you're here with us right now. We got the Facebook group. We just appreciate y'all hanging out with us, and we going to keep doing what we do. We hope y'all have a good weekend and just hold it in the road and have fun watching them playoffs tomorrow. We got some good games coming up.
Yeah, we do. I guess I'll ride for the home team.
I don't want to see Taylor Swift. I don't want to see Taylor Swift. I'm going for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens because the league did him dirty all off season and regular season. That brother need to get his props.
I'm rooting for everybody black. I love to see it.
All right, I'm with you on that.
I love to see it.
All right, so that means Kansas City can't go. Y'all be good out there.
Wait a minute, don't do Mahomes like that. He half black. Don't do that. Y'all have a good Saturday.
Hold it in a row.